yet. At least the southeast, right? All right, let's get a screen and we'll see if you guys all can see and hear me. Here comes my screen, so now I can see me. And let's see, then Jacobs is 5x5. Okay, the old leader is back on top again. South Colorado Steader, Christian Prepper, Pennsylvania Mama Bear. Okay, good deal. Happy Tuesday, guys. You'd think it was a Thursday or Friday with what was going on in the news today, huh? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, let's start with what I was talking about earlier today on the permitting bill that Joe Manchin was trying to get through with the continuing resolution in the Senate. They pulled it from the CR because there was too much opposition from both Republicans and from the far left. Figure that one out. Okay, obviously completely different reasons, but the finding out by the end of the week if the government controls our electricity is not on the table anymore. Though Chuck Schumer said he committed to getting it done by the end of the year, which is very possible because once you have a bunch of senators who have lost their seats, they're not going to care. They're going to say, well, I'm out of a job here in a month anyway. I'm voting for this. So we'll see what happens. But it needs 60 votes. So let's cross our fingers that they don't ever get there because I don't want to be paying my electric bill to the DOE. But that brings up the other thing. So I got a question for y'all. Now, we all know the hurricane going through or coming to hit Florida, right? And right here in front of me, I've got a picture of what I-4 looks like. And typical, it looks like a parking lot, okay? Everybody trying to get out of Dodge. Now, you've all seen these pictures every time there's some sort of hurricane coming or something, right? And it's like traffic is just gridlock. It's stopped. That's it. You're trying to move and you're inching along, right? Now, I want you to imagine that you're in an electric car. Remember the thing that Joe wants everybody to own? Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a problem here because if you run out of a charge on the highway there with all these other people behind you, it's not like you have a spare battery in the trunk to put in your tank real quick. You know, like you could have a gallon of gas. Oh, and if the power gets knocked out, good luck recharging that electric car too. Oh, we didn't think that far ahead. Okay. Just stupid stuff that nobody ever thinks about. You know, it's like, oh, save the environment. We're just going to go and have fun with all of this. Yeah. Okay. Dumbass. No other way to put it. Okay. You want to own your Tesla, your Prius, whatever it is, go ahead. More power to you. But when I'm laughing at you when you're sitting on the side of the car or side of the road, when they've got to bring out a gas-powered generator to charge your car, yeah, I'll keep going and you can just look like the sheep that you are, the snowflake. You know, it's like I laugh hysterically. You know, you want to have an EV, great. Okay, have a gas-powered car as a backup because it's a hell of a lot more reliable, a hell of a lot cheaper. Okay, you know, but such as so. All right, I think I said everything I could possibly say in the 3 videos today. So I want to get into Q&A as quick as possible. I am wiped out. I was trying to clean out the garage, use whatever wood I had left after I got robbed. Yes, I mean, I went through everything that was in there, and all those 2x4s are gone. Yes, they were stolen. So lucky me. So I'm trying to do whatever I can with some of the leftover lumber from the build, you know, the framing of the whole place, so I can build some workbenches and some shelves. But all that lumber that I bought to do this in the first place, I don't have anymore. So it's just like crap. So we're making do with what we got. We'll kind of go from there. So yes, it's a bad hair day, as you can see. That's the hat. So I did not shower or anything like that. Thank God it's not smell internet or whatever, you know, smell-o-vision. That's it. I probably stink. All right. So, greetings to everybody. Thank you to my mods for taking another evening off and coming in here to play police. But if you're new here, just kind of give you the idea of what's going on. All right. On live streams on this channel, we do Q&A. This is the chance for you guys to get your voice heard, to ask questions, not only of me, but of everybody else here in the family, that somebody's going to have the answer because I haven't got them all. But if you got questions for me, please put them in all caps. Usually there's somewhere around 1,800, 2,000 people in here. There's one of me. So it's a lot easier for me to go through questions quicker if I can see them in all caps. The only thing I do ask of everybody, or I don't ask, I demand, is that we treat each other with respect and act civilly in here. If people want to be rude, obnoxious, whatever would be, the moderators are very good about showing people the door. So, please treat others as though you'd like to be treated yourself. And that way we have a good fellowship, good community, and can get on with the important things in life, like surviving rather than bitching. So, Moonlight Gardener, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. It'll buy me a couple of boards at least. I think it was about $7 a 2x4 or something like that. It's pretty bad when 2x4s are almost $1 a foot. Crazy, but all right. So let me get to the top here, and we will just get right into this because I'm betting with everything going on, there's a lot of questions, and some are going to take a little longer to answer tonight. Knucklebuster, the sky was supposed to fall at the 10-year 2.5 to 3.9 today, and it same shit, different day. Yeah, well, if you've been paying attention, the sky has pretty much fallen. Okay, you've seen the panic, chaos, inflation, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, when we hit that 2.5 range, that was when the bond market started to take a dump. The stock market started to take a dump. Mind you, we were at 36,000 in, what was it, November last year? Maybe it was somewhere around there. We're trying to stay above 29,000 in the market now. So yeah, there's a 20% drop right there. Yeah, the sky is falling, and it ain't done. Kim, do I think the housing market is going to crash too? Personally, yes. Very simply, because you look at what all these politicians are saying. We need more unemployment to get inflation down. What's unemployment bring? Gee, I don't know. Let's look back at 2008, 2009. That brings a housing crisis. Okay. The fact that interest rates are going up means people can't afford to buy a house. I think I told you, it's like the exact same house now because of interest rates that you could have bought in January. If you buy it now, is going to cost you about $250,000 more just because of interest rates going up over the life of a 30-year mortgage. But yeah, as people have less money, less purchasing power, and less jobs, yeah, the housing market's going to crash. Rice-A-Roni, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciated as well. I'm sorry I was robbed too. Like I said on Saturday night, it sucks losing the wood, absolutely. But more and more, I feel violated over the whole thing. Fortunately, my security cameras, the 3 more I got to put up, showed up in the mail today. So those will be going up this week as well. But the garage door guy's supposed to come tomorrow too. So we'll have a door on the damn thing finally. And, then I can at least hopefully close the place up and lock it. So, but I've learned real quick with contractors, do not count on them being here until they're here, because there ain't one that I can find that's reliable at all. Faith, thank you for the lumber fund. There you go. I building storage. That's basically storage and somewhere to grow my plants and seedlings and do whatever work I've got to do that you do in a garage, wood shop type stuff. I'm not the electrician, blacksmith, or anything like that, but woodworking is my hand stuff. So at least getting out there, it's a good way to get my mind off of other things. But thank you. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Uh, John Bourne, should I stock up on charcoal or propane for cooking in SHTF? Both are great ideas. Okay. Neither one of them go bad. So that's a good thing. As long as you keep charcoal dry, you're fine. So, undercover somewhere. And, propane's not like gasoline. Propane will last forever. Gasoline eventually goes stale. But, whichever one you barbecue with, I mean, I'm not saying go out and buy yourself a propane grill. If you've got a charcoal grill, stock up on charcoal. If you've got a propane grill or whatever, having the advantage to propane, I will say, is propane's a little bit more versatile. If you got a dual fuel generator, propane will work for it. You can get a propane heater or whatever. I mean, propane is a hell of a prep. It all depends on the cost of what you can afford. I mean, I don't think any of us wants to have or can afford 50 of those 20-gallon or 20-pound, whatever, 25-pound containers, the barbecue grill size ones. What do they want? $60 a piece if you're buying them with the tank right now. Obviously, unless you've got propane tank in the backyard, like a lot of us do, like I do. The portable ones can get very expensive very fast. But yeah, either one of those, I mean, great backups to have. The nice part about the charcoal, I mean, there's pros to both of them. Don't get me wrong. Charcoal's a lot more portable. You don't need to have some sort of delivery device to cook over charcoal. I mean, if you've got a bug out and you've got 5 pounds of charcoal, you can pull a couple of briquettes out, and not a couple, but 10, and you can get a fire going, cook over it. You're not going to, gee, I'm bugging out and I got to drag the barbecue with me. That's the thing. So pros and cons to both. Charcoal better for bug out situation. Propane probably better if you're staying in one place. So, and again, none of us know if we're going to, everybody hopes to stay where they are, but none of us knows if we're going to be able to. So having both is a good thing. How about that for an answer? Mama G's prep and garden must be a bad hair day. Yup. Lena, thank you for the super chat for the lumber fund. You guys are hilarious. We'll get all this stuff done. Yes, eventually when I get this garage done, it will be nice because we will finally have some extra storage and everything. We'll finally have some storage. You got to understand the house I live in, guys. Okay, the house is where I am. I mean, like I said, I'm near the lake. When they were built, and we're not the original owners of this house, but when they were built, they were basically built for weekend cottages and stuff like that for people. So there isn't any closet space. I mean, I kid you not when I say the only closets in this place are the bedroom closets. There's no hall closet to hang coats. There's no utility closet or anything to keep a mop bucket or anything like that. I mean, we've got a little laundry room that basically is taken over by the washer and dryer, and the water heater room, which is where all my tools and everything are stuffed in there. It's like crawling through over the floor trying to find what I need when I need it. It's going to be nice to finally have some freaking room. So, even our things like Christmas decorations, they're stored in a spare bedroom because there's no closet space. So that was one of the big reasons for building this, is we need somewhere to put stuff because we've got one, just everything is, that's the point. We need places to put preps and you name it. I didn't want to miss it. South Colorado Stutter, thank you for that put toward wood. We'll get there. All right, moving on along here. Billy Rose says hello from North Texas. If you're close to UNT, I'd say hello to everybody there for me. Morning Light, the houses own too much stock and utilities to I'm not understanding the comment there. I apologize. Beth, thank you for the wood fund. Appreciate that greatly. Let's see. Click out of that. Scrolling on down. Prep rebel electricity and water don't mix. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. There's the other thing. Gee, honey, we're in the middle of a hurricane. It's pouring rain. We ran out of electricity in the car. No problem. I'll just get out and charge it right here. Oops. Sorry, I'm dead. Let's see. Though I do have a little surprise for you guys. Not that my surprises are any surprise anymore, but I've got a surprise for you in the morning. So, considering our electric problem. If you haven't figured it out by now, you haven't been around here that long. Tina Moore, do we have ships that use the Baltic Sea? Occasionally. It was interesting. There are rumors. Well, let's put it this way. There's one report out there that the former Polish defense minister, who is now a member of the European Union Parliament, has said that this was done by the United States. Pretty much everybody, all the countries around Europe are saying now this was an act of sabotage. So, they've pretty much at this point ruled out, gee, it was a fault in steel and concrete. Okay. So they're coming with that. And then there was one report that I can't confirm yet that, there are submarines, U.S. submarines in the Baltic Sea, which kind of goes right back. That came out probably somewhere around 6 o'clock. I was like, where have I heard that before? Lori, thank you for the super chat. You guys are hilarious with the lumber fund, but I appreciate it. It'll get me done. I thank you much. Yeah, the thing is, like I said, to go back to Tina's question, do we have ships that use the Baltic Sea? Ships wouldn't do any good. I mean, a ship, how long would it take, with the satellite imagery that we have, we and every other industrialized nation in the world has, how long would it take for somebody to go, oh, this is where it happens? Poof, let's see what the satellites picked up. Oh, look, there's a frigate, there's a battleship, whatever would be. I mean, it'd take 30 seconds to identify that. So that ruled it out. The funniest story, though, the Daily Mail in the UK has got to rival the Washington Post for hiring the stupidest journalists ever. Okay. The Daily Mail said that their sources tell them that it was Russian frogmen, as they put it, that did this. Now, I can't. There are people out there saying that Russia sabotaged this on their own. It just logically doesn't make sense because they've got the on-off switch. Okay, but the frogmen. The story goes, oh yes, that these were special forces type guys, Navy SEALs, Russian Navy SEALs or whatever, that left the submarine and went down and did this. Anybody ever heard of what the bends are? Okay. You're talking going underwater somewhere between 300 and 450 feet deep. The human body can't take that. That's why they pressurize submarines, diving bells, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even a diving suit that is pressurized, you ain't going down that deep. Okay. And I read this article and I'm like, the first sentence, I'm like, this author is a complete idiot. So, again, I swear some of these journalists think, oh my God, I can tell them anything they want because the people don't have the ability to think. And well, that may be true for half the world, okay, the liberal half. There are some of us here that, the squirrel cage works. Raven Reese, I love the hat. Yeah. I like the hat. So we'll see. Hey, if I got to have a DeSantis 2024 hat, I will. No problem. But right now, this is my hat. So, and my army hat. But that's, this one was convenient when I came in the house from moving wood piles all over the place. Jay Myers, it looks good on paper, but wasn't thought out fully. Okay, I'm not sure what the context is. Like-minded, an electric car should have a solar roof. There you go. I'm thinking first thought that ran through my head was like a sunroof. Okay. But I know what you're saying. A solar roof, that would make sense if you had some solar panels, at least to get a trickle charge on it or something. That would make sense. Gee, nobody's thought of that. Mama G, perhaps thank you for the super chat. For Series 200 locks on my garage. Yeah, somebody had an idea the other day, said I need to booby trap what's in there. I mean, and I'll tell you, when I was piling everything up today to make room for the garage door guys to come in, I was trying to think, I was like, how the hell could I booby trap what's still in here? Because it's going to piss me off if I go out there tomorrow and there's something missing. But better not be. John Franks, learn not to trust EVs for the first Jurassic Park movie. Okay, whatever made you not trust them works for me. Let's see. Squeaky Melissa 73. How long will ghee and coconut oil in a jar last? Not sure if it's like canning it yourself. Okay, when asking your question, I thought you meant canning it yourself. Go watch one of Alaska Preppers, Rudy's video on making ghee. He opened it up, I think it was 10 years later, and it was home canned, and it was still fine, okay? If you think ghee originally comes from India, and hell, you go through most of India right now and they don't have refrigeration, okay? You know, you want to talk about a caste society, that is totally rich and poor, and you know, just where's 99% of the population, they're poor, okay? So, you know, a lot of them don't have refrigeration. You all have seen pictures of what India looks like. But that's how they keep the butter, and been doing it for centuries that way. So, yeah, ghee will last quite a long time. I mean, I can't tell you 10 years, 3 months, and 2 days. I mean, nothing like that. But Rudy's said his was fine after 10 years. It's good enough for me. Linda Bopp, looks like you need to store the lumber inside your house. Yeah, I mean, there's a problem. I mean, and I know we keep going back to this, and I understand why, because you can't see where they went in the garage from the house. You know, they didn't take anything that was around the house because that was blocked off. But that was part of the reason for putting it over there, was to block off the side of the house. Of course, on the vice versa side, it blocks off the side of the garage, but that's what security cameras for. But I can't put those up until the garage is painted. So, though I may put it up ahead of time and take it off when they come paint. Prep Rebel, am I in the line of the storm? By the latest model, the one I was showing you, and maybe it's maybe not the latest, the one I was showing you on today's video, yes, I am. And from the news I saw 9 hours ago, 10 hours ago, or whatever it is, I'm supposed to get a couple inches of rain over the weekend and 30-mile-an-hour winds, everything. So that's fine. I mean, that's not going to be damaging. Now, who knows how that changes as the storm gets closer? I have no idea. But as of right now, we are in that cone, if you will. Doggone it. Thank you for the super chat. My husband says the heist was an inside job. This 20's for your private investigator. You'd think, you know, I've got ideas, okay, and I've got no proof of it, okay? There's a couple of unsavory characters that live in town here that I know of, that they're a possibility. Both of them happen to be in the construction trade. Who better to steal dimensional lumber than guys in the construction trade? And then, you know, it's always possible that some of the laborers who were here doing a job or whatever saw it, and, you know, hey, we can go back there at night and grab some of this stuff. I mean, it's not like there's a black market for 2x4s, but, you know, somebody wants something, they'll take it, you know. And I mean, like I said, what gets me the most is because I'm so security oriented, and it happens to me, okay? And I know exactly why, just because I haven't been able to, I didn't have the cameras yet, and I still can't put them up because I need them up. I mean, it just sucks. Kitsy Witty, Pinball, would you consider getting a gate on your property entrance and security cameras? I already have a gate on my property to get in, and I have security cameras. I just don't have one on the garage yet. But yes, there's a gate too. So this is where I say I have an idea. It's got to be somebody who knows the code to get, it's keypad code. You got somebody who knows the code to get in. And so that would either be one of the contractors, I doubt it's the UPS guy, okay, or some of the people that live in the area. Because mind you this, the way our house is, it's a private road that goes up the hill. Okay, and you've heard me talk about mountaintop preps, everything like that all the time. They're at the top of the hill, and I'm basically at the gate. And that gate blocks the road that goes all the way up the 3/4 of a mile or whatever it is to the top of the hill. So it's not like it's my gate. There are other people that have access to it. Susan Lathrop, can you freeze butter? Absolutely. Every time I see butter on sale, that's exactly what I do. Is I'll buy anything I can and I throw it in one of my deep freezers, and I mean it'll last no problem. It's like anything else. You probably, just like anything else that's frozen, you usually want to use it within a year or so. But yeah, you can freeze butter, no problem. You can freeze milk if you didn't know that. Okay. Charlie Knoll, anything new on the pipeline? I looked just before we got it. I mean, I was out working, trying to move everything, and then I came in and ate dinner, and I had about 15 minutes to look, and that was one of the things I looked, to see if there was any updates on what I talked about today. I found the story on Mansion, but I haven't seen anything new on the pipeline. But again, you've got to remember, right now it's like 3 o'clock in the morning in Europe. So, depending on where you are, obviously further east you get, later in the day it is. But, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in London, and probably, 4 in Sweden, Finland, and 5 in Moscow, somewhere thereabouts. So, yeah, not a whole lot going on in the middle of the night. David Bland, what happened to China's leader? What happened to Nord Stream? I think we've talked about Nord Stream here, and if you can go watch the video I put up today, that'll tell you the rest of it. China's leader, going back to that story from a couple of days ago, yeah, nothing ever came out about that. So the Indian press really came up and pulled everybody's leg on that one pretty good, because apparently there was no coup, and Xi Jinping is not under house arrest, because by now that would be news in the rest of the world. Okay, so yeah, apparently only India is the one that knows about this. Let's see, India's what's the word I'm looking for? How much you trust them? I can't think of the word. And the rest of the world, I don't trust India very much at all, anyway. So. Jay Myers, with all the expected rain, how's your pond? Was it fixed to your satisfaction? Yeah, fixed. Hell, I can't even get the guy to come out here. I can't even get him to answer an email or phone call. Okay, the last thing I did on that was I sent him a final demand letter saying either it's done by October 1st or I'm in court to file a lawsuit against you. So yeah, if he's not out here in the next couple of days, come Monday morning, I will be down in the county courthouse filing a lawsuit. And if he thinks he's messing with somebody who's not going to do that, he's wrong. I've taken on one small company, one medium-sized company, and Citibank, and won all three without a lawyer. Yeah. So taking on some little excavating company ain't nothing. I'm sorry. And this is not being arrogant or patting myself on the back. I can be your best friend. I can be your worst enemy. Don't fuck with me. Country Humans Grease fan. Are your chestnuts American or Chinese? Could you grow new trees? Okay, I've never had them tested, and I know people have asked me. Now, here's the thing. If you guys know, the American chestnut tree was basically decimated about 100 years ago, and there was some bug or whatever that came in and did it. What I don't know is if mine are American chestnuts or if they are Chinese chestnuts. I've got 4 on the property. And mind you, when this house was built, okay, before this house was built, this side of the mountain had never, I mean, this was only 2011 when this house was built. This was our first house. Mine was the first house that was built on this side of the mountain, right? Other than that, this was all wild woodlands. That was it. The trees out there are over 100 feet high, okay? And I mean, they are big around. I don't know. They might be American chestnuts. I'm not counting on it, but it's possible because I really don't see how the Chinese chestnuts would have made it out into the woods. So, but as for growing new trees out of it, I'm assuming that, because considering the placement of where they are, I'm assuming these are all, the 3 in the front are all, what's the word? You can tell it's late. Children, I guess, if you will, offspring, that's the word I'm looking for, of the one that's on the side of the house here, because the one on the side of the house is freaking enormous. So, you know, I mean, it's got 2 trunks on it that are probably 3 feet in diameter. Let's see. Oops. Shot to the bottom. We got to come back up top. Okay. As far as I can get up to the top, Prep Rebel says it had to be a sub, too deep for a diver and too deep for other things. That's exactly my concept. I mean, I'm not a dumb guy, but I ain't the smartest guy in the world either. And it doesn't take much to figure out. There aren't a whole lot of ways you can do this. I mean, if there would have been a air-to-surface missile, a plane going over or whatever, and doing it, caught on radar, it's amazing how nobody saw anything. No, radar, satellite, nothing. So that tells me it came from underwater. How hard is this to figure out? What type of transmission capacity does the human race have underwater? It's too deep for divers. Nobody's going to swim out there. That only leaves one vehicle. Then the question is, who? And it's not like they're, like you have the flight tracking, flight tracker or whatever, or Monkey Works and, all the stuff that he shows all the time about tracking airplanes. You don't have that for submarines. So, yeah. A Cushnet Prepper, when do I expect to see electric jets since we won't be making fossil fuels anymore? I will get on an electric jet when I see that Air Force One is electric, okay? And until then, this is the way I look at it. If the government wants us to have electric everything, when you move all of your stuff to electricity and prove to me that it works, then I'll consider it. So until the beast from that, the vehicle that the president rides in is electric, don't talk to me about it. Until Air Force One or Marine One is electric, don't talk to me about it. You show me you're willing to put your cojones in a vise and get on an electric flying vehicle and then talk. Do not make me the guinea pig. You wanted this, you be the guinea pig. Oh, Grandma Lisa, where do I pick up the info? I'd like to get more news. Oh my God. There's got to be at least 50 different sites that I go through and check out news. I mean, obviously the regular Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, I go read all that because I want to see what propaganda the left's putting out, or at least read the headlines, but I don't read the articles, unless it's a topic that I might need information on. Then the next media I'll go through, Breitbart, Newsmax, InfoWars, Newsbusters, Zero Hedge, look at stuff like that. Then looking at international news, I will look at Sky News out of Australia. I'll look at WION. I'll look at RT. I will look at the Daily Mail. Different war news 24/7. What you'll find real quick, and I mean, hopefully you guys know how to do this, is, there's a little translate button on your Google, if you use Google Chrome as your deal. You can translate any of these articles from whatever language they're in to English. I mean, like the lunchtime video, I think it was, when I was talking about all this, and I mentioned the Swedish article to you. I put the link down, so hopefully you can see it. If you didn't translate it, it's going to come up in Swedish. If you click on one little button, there's the whole article in English. So you'll find real fast that you get a whole lot more reliable information from the foreign press on what's going on in the United States than you get from any U.S. press. Kathy Acevedo, do you think that Hurricane Ian can fill your pond? If we get 2 inches of rain, probably, okay? Because I think I told you guys what I did. Because when the water comes down the street, like I said, it's about 3/4 of a mile. I think we checked the elevation. It's like, I think it was 300 or 400 feet higher at Mountaintop Prep's house than it is at mine. And so that water just runs down the road. And I mean, literally, when it rains hard, there's white caps on the water coming down the road. That's how fast this water's running down. So to fill my, looks like we lost connection for a second. To fill my pond, let's make sure you guys came back. I'm here. Let's see if I've got a refresh. I'm not moving. Okay. I can see me again. All right. 5x5, 5x5, 5x5. Yeah, I saw disconnect real quick. So what I did was I put a French drain in running from the driveway all the way over to the pond, and then got an old piece of fire hose and filled that with sand so I can make a diverter. So when the water comes down the street, it'll divert it into the French drain and runs in. And we had that rain in July. Oh, it works. So great little use of, excuse me, great little use of waste material there to make something that I could use. Here we go. All right, let's go back here. Cheryl Halfhill, do I know if a ginkgo biloba tree can be started from a cutting? No, I do not. I've never grown one. Teresa D, any update on North Shore? The only thing I told you was I knew Saturday night is that he said he was going to be in the hospital till sometime the end of this week. So I figure he'll probably let me know when he's back. I'm assuming that's going to be Thursday or Friday. So hopefully, but keep North Shore in your prayers. He's had a tough 2022. Patrick Fulis, I'm astounded that people can't think through the common sense answers. Ain't that? Well, welcome to the 21st century. We have 2 whole generations of people that completely missed the boat when God was handing out common sense. I mean, you think about these Gen Zers and these millennials and everything, and not all of them, just most, okay? Because I know there's a few of you guys in here who actually are awake. Not woke, awake. And, it's like they have a panic attack if Starbucks runs out of the caramel they put in their coffee. I mean, that is, oh my God, my day's over. I can't get my coffee at Starbucks. When the only reason that they, it's like, yeah, you need to have a solar generator. Yeah, you're right. I couldn't imagine what I'd do if I couldn't charge my phone. What about eating or staying warm or my phone? Yeah. Like I said, there's going to be a purge, and I'm more than happy to get rid of all the snowflakes. J. Myers Air Force One going to be powered by a rubber band? Yeah, they could use Joe. Wind him up and see if he goes. Sound like my dog. Let's see what I can sniff. Lieutenant Frank Drebin. A couple Navy SEALs or frogmen in a mini sub. Works in the movies. Okay. Still, submarine. Okay. But again, you're still talking about somebody had to do it. And whatever, are you going to take the chance of a slow moving mini sub that's got to be released from somewhere? Okay. Like I said, if it's a surface ship, that doesn't work. Okay. Because that's caught. So then you'd have the mini sub released from another submarine. Why would you bother releasing another submarine when you can just go flood tube 2, done? I mean, this is it. Yeah. I will be very surprised if they determine it's anything other than a torpedo. Romy Davis, can someone tell me what happened? To pick something. There was a lot that happened today. Jamie R., I just finished watching a video of Biden saying he would take out the Nord Stream pipeline. I included that clip in the video I put up today on this. That was back on February 7th that Biden said, we'll take it out. And when you listen to the reporter going, but what are you talking about? I mean, how could you? Don't worry, we'll do it. Talk about a smoking gun. After that little speech and what happened today, where do you think all the fingers are pointing, Joe? I mean, like I said, not like Al Qaeda's got submarines, but has anybody even mentioned terrorism like that? No. All the fingers are pointing directly at the White House with good reason. Annie's here. Am I the only one singing It's Electric? There you go. Could we do the electric slide? I don't know. What was it? The Electric Horseman or something like that? Yeah. Electric Light Orchestra. Mama G's Prep and Garden. A lot of problems would be solved during hurricanes and tornadoes if we buried all the electrical lines, but that would be smart. A lot of them are, okay? The problem is there's a lot of places where you can't. And those of you guys up in New England know exactly what I'm talking about. I lived up there. I mean, you're basically on a pile of granite. It's topsoil over granite. I mean, what it would cost to bury power lines in granite would be ridiculous. Then you look at getting down south where it's all sand. Okay, you're not how deep you have to go until you hit something that is stable enough to hold up, or stable enough that, gee, all the sand blew away today, and now the power lines are exposed. So yes, and it's cheaper to put the power lines above ground, but I mean, for the last 40 years, I mean, if you could avoid it, people pretty much avoided it in the metropolitan areas. I mean, I've got overhead power lines here. I mean, you can dig into Tennessee clay with a trencher, no problem. But you're talking trees and hills and, all this crazy stuff living out in the country. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I know people that won't buy a house because there's overhead power lines that I can see. Okay, I mean, I understand, but, if that's the only reason you're not buying a house, then you're being a little too picky. It's only got 2 bedrooms, but it doesn't have power lines. Cool, we'll buy this house. Let's see. Lady, what will happen to Social Security when everything goes south? Yeah, there's need a lot more to that question. Depends on how far south we go. Okay, if we make it all the way to hell, or we just get part way. If the world economy collapses and everything like that, if the U.S. government goes bankrupt, Social Security's gone. Okay. It depends on how far south we go. I mean, I can't answer that question. DFreak01, we went through and set all our security cameras to flashlights and sound flashlights and sound alarms when humans are detected, but stay silent for all animals. They record everything 24/7. Excellent night vision too. Okay. My guess is you have hardwired cameras, especially if you are recording everything 24/7. Mine are motion detection. The only time they record is when there is motion. Unfortunately, I don't have that good of settings that, I mean, it's not going to go when leaves blow by or something like that, but like I've got one that when the flag blows, it'll set it off. So I've got to set the sensitivity on that one down, but I can't get to the point of difference of people and inanimate objects or anything like that. And they've got night vision too. So yeah, it was fun when I was trying to get these 3 cameras. A good story for you. We bought our security system 2 years ago and got it from a company called Lorex, Lorex. Great system, okay? Very easy to set up. It's practically plug and play. Wireless cameras that has a range of like 400 feet or something like that. So the house is relatively close to the center of the yard. So, I mean, I can literally put cameras anywhere in the yard I want, and we can monitor them from inside the house. 2 years old. Went to go buy, and the setup we had it'll take up to 6 cameras. We have 3, and so I wanted to get 3 more. And I went and looked for these cameras. They don't make them anymore. And so I called up the company. I said, what cameras are compatible? Well, we don't make any compatible cameras with that system. I'm like, crap, I don't need to be buying a new security system. I kid you not. I found 4 on eBay from some guy in Canada who had 4 brand new ones. I mean, they're still in the box, sealed by the factory, tape that says sealed by the factory, and everything like that. I got them today. So for my system, there's 1 camera available out in the North America right now. That's it. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Because the new systems will now take up to 12 cameras. And like Mrs. P and I said, we don't have need for 12 cameras. 6 is pretty much going to cover. When I put up these other 3, I will have all 4 corners of the property well covered. So, Jamie Dolan, I watch Sky News Australia too. Sometimes they're hilarious. Yeah, there's a couple of talking heads on Sky News that I really enjoy watching them, because not only are they informative, but they're also entertaining. Let's see. Okay, this is where you guys 5x5, and then we get shot to the bottom. Prepared Jared, thank you for the super chat. When during the morning or day do you pull blankets and tarps off the plants when you have frost at night? Easiest way to tell that is when the frost has melted off the ground and the temperature is above 32. Now you're okay to bring them up. So, just pay attention there. That way you know that you're above freezing. Okay. There you go. One John M. Thompson, deepest scuba dive, 313 meters at 2014. Descent was 15-minute. Return took 13 and a half hours. If timers were used, they could have been planted in February. Yeah, perhaps the 8th. Yeah, like you said, the return took 13 and a half hours. Okay. Can you imagine you've just planted a bomb on a pipeline, and for 13 and a half hours, you're right there where it's going to go off? No. I'm sorry. And I mean, again, the ascent took 13 and a half hours. That would have been pretty obvious if there was a ship around. Okay. Gee, all the satellites don't happen to work on September 25th. What happened? That would be a little crazy. Okay, let's see. Kenneth Oliver says my 3 120s came in today. I'm assuming that means your solar panels. So cool, that's good. Karen Ryden, my friend from Russia, left. Last I heard was he was going to, I believe. No, let's put it this way. I'm not going to say where and what. Uh, all I know is that he left and arrived safely where in his next destination. Let's leave it at that. Okay. Goodness in every bite. Lots of love from Ontario, Canada. Your chili is a hit here. There you go. Cool. Now international chili recipe. Okay. Let's see. Bring on Lloyd Bridges. Yeah, this is scenes from an airplane movie. Mama G's, common sense isn't so common anymore. Yeah, okay, sense isn't. Paladin 1, the way they're going to get there to fix it can be the same way they broke it. Okay, I'm not sure the context there. Vicky Savage, I couldn't agree with you more. Starbucks, Charbucks, their coffee tastes burnt. I can't stand Starbucks coffee. Again, I drink coffee the old-fashioned way, black. Okay, Starbucks coffee black sucks. Okay, maybe if you fill it with caramel and soy milk and 5 pounds of sugar and everything like that, to the point where there's this much coffee in your cup of coffee, maybe it tastes okay. Not to me, but I want a cup of black coffee. And get a cup of black coffee. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my daughter loves Starbucks. Okay, every time we were in Vegas, she always wanted to go to Starbucks. She's like, Dad, what do you want? Nothing. I want to go somewhere. I'll go to McDonald's and get coffee because McDonald's coffee is 100 times better than Starbucks, and McDonald's coffee sucks. Winona Halen, notice your curtain is closed tonight. People can't peek in and see what you're doing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. The little spaces over there. Okay. Mrs. P must have moved the curtains or whatever. But yeah, good. That's it. We have, this is the difference between me and Mrs. P. She likes the curtains closed. I like them with the strings, the tie backs, and I like them open like that. And so we go back and forth in this. This one I don't mind closed because this is the one that's on the driveway. But the other one is the one where I've got my view of the yard. And I like to be able to look out when I'm sitting in my chair and look out in the yard because it's a pretty yard. Prep Rebel, you are so correct. The smartphone took away all the common sense that young people of our age used to learn. Yeah, the smartphone made people dumb, And I'll admit, it did it to all of us. I mean, I can still tell you my phone number that I had when we lived in Chicago when I was a kid, and we moved away from there in 1979, and the phone number was 852-2946. Area code was 312. I still remember that phone number. I couldn't tell you Mrs. P's phone number right now, okay? Because in my phone, it's Mrs. P, or my daughter's name, or, you just program. It's like, okay, here's my neighbor. It's like, okay, put their name in. I want to call Fred. There's Fred. I don't know the number, but I can still tell you the phone number that I had 50 years ago. Oh my God, Pighead Water Buffalo. About had a stroke today. Box of 5 dozen eggs, $22. That's $4.40 a dozen. I mean, what are these? Jumbo organic Kardashian chickens or what? I mean, come on. $22 for eggs. No. Linda Bopp, yes, this is something that I couldn't agree with you more. Prayers for all those dealing with the hurricane. Yes, I pray God every single person, Democrat or liberal, stays safe. And we know we're going to see damage. I just don't want to see any death over it. I'm sorry, there's still a little humanity in me. Let's see. Huts John, what will Putin do about the pipeline? This is the interesting part. This is what doesn't, okay, because if I'm not mistaken, the pipeline is German controlled. I'm not sure if it's a joint venture between Germany and Russia, or how the ownership of it goes. I know it's controlled by the Germans, okay? Obviously, the inlet valve is controlled by the Russians. what will Putin do? Who knows? Because there's the speculation of, gee, the Russians did it. There's obviously all the speculation that the Americans did it. We have no idea if the Martians didn't do it. Okay. So it's what's going to be interesting to watch is not only the investigation, because obviously it's going to be an international investigation, but it's going to be interesting to watch the posturing from the different countries as how they deal with this. And, a lot of times it's like you can tip your hand by being too nice or whatever. Biden came out right away. Oh, we'll help Europe by sending liquid natural gas and everything like that. Kind of jumped the gun a little quick on that one, didn't you, Joe? But, did you know something ahead of time? Huffy Prepper, there's another good point. Yes. Well, Rice-A-Roni says something, and then Huffy Prepper's got a good answer. Funny, they're burying fiber optic, but can't do the electric. Fiber optic is only buried about 6 inches deep. We had fiber optic done here when it became available about 2 years ago. It's only about 6 inches deep. Electric is about here because they had to move it. The electric here, I think, is 30 inches deep. And then, so Huffy Prepper brings up a very good point. The freeze line may be prohibit where they can dig down to, too. Okay. So, there's more to it than just the material that the ground is. And again, I'm not a geologist or geological engineer or determine any of that or whatever. But, for the most part, I'll give them credit, the reasons that we have above ground and below ground lines in different places. I'm guessing usually there's probably good reason for it. Okay, let's see. S. Withers, what would happen to the stock of electric utilities if the grid is nationalized? Let's see. What happened to Kodak? What happened to Singer's sewing machines? What happened to Magnavox? What happened to pets.com? How about AOL? They go to zero. Company's out of business. You lost all your money. Have a nice day. And that's it. It's not like the government's going to say, oh, all the shareholders, hey, you know what? We'll buy out your... No, we just own it now. Sorry. You made an investment. You lost. Kitsy Witty, I need a drone with night vision cameras. I have one. I'm not going to sit there and fly it all night watching to do whatever. In an SHTF situation, it's part of my security. Rooster says, Pinball is an old carpenter, many times ripped off. I could give you one hell of a trap with a fishing line and a few hooks and a garage door spring. You'll hear them. There you go. Okay, let's see. Shot down. Holy crap, it's 8:57. I love it. The first time I look at it, it's like, okay, we're done. A few more here, so let's see. Prep Rebel, all my Wi-Fi security cameras have a 6-second delay. My hardwired ones are instant. I believe mine's got something like a 3-second delay or something like that on it too. Buzzard Prepper, I'm thinking Wednesday and probably Thursday are going to be very interesting news days. Thursday and Friday always are. It used to be Fridays, and all of a sudden it was like Thursdays things started coming out, and I'm going, oh, gee, I guess Congress wants a 3-day weekend. But yeah, it's between now and November 8th, guys. I mean, we're talking 6 weeks till the election. There's going to be a lot of crazy crap go on, and then it's just going to get worse afterwards. So it's going to be an interesting 3 months going into the end of the year, and I'm not going to be talking about Christmas presents. Penny Willis, there you go. I traded some crochet for 5 20-pound propane tanks. That's a lot of crocheting. Okay, either that or you do some absolutely gorgeous work, because 5 20-pound tanks, even if they're empty, that's $100 plus. Samuel Navarro, remote vehicle could have been used. Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm figuring you're talking about Nord Stream 2 and not the lumber getting stolen. That would be interesting. But sure, yeah. Again, we have drones in the air. I'm betting they've got no problem with drones underwater, too. All right, and I got time for one more if I can find one. Let's see. Goodness in every bite. My chili actually took first place in a taste testing. Hey, cool. Now it was the person who did the cooking. Terry Hardaway, do I wash my mug? I don't even know what mug you're talking about. Vicky and Marion Bradford, with the pipeline down, are we going to be closer to war? Think about what little things have happened. I mean, Archduke Ferdinand started World War I. The assassination of, Archduke Ferdinand, that started a world war. Okay. World War II was a little bigger deal with Hitler going into Poland. But it doesn't take much. And especially when you have a situation like this, with all the finger pointing that's going on, like I said, all it takes is one person to do something stupid. And, like I said in my video today, imagine, Russia and the rest of the world's going to blame us. Of course, the Americans, we blame Russia for everything. I mean, the hurricane is probably Russia's fault, unless you're Amy Klobuchar, and they say if you vote for Democrats, that they have an answer to stop hurricanes. I kid you not, she said that today. Vote for Democrats, they can stop hurricanes. But we'll blame Russia. Our politicians will blame Russia for it. And how hot does the rhetoric get until finally we've got a ship going across to Europe, tanker full of liquid natural gas, and Russia says, look, target practice, poof, and now we have an international incident. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here and let y'all go see Jason over at Angry Pepper. So thank you all for everything this evening. You guys have a great Tuesday. Florida, stay safe. Take care, guys. Pinball out.